Alright guys, I wanted to make a quick video to let you know a little bit of information that I figured out on this 7.5 horsepower outboard. So, it's old school. I'd say it's like a 1982. I watched a ton of YouTube videos and figured out that pretty much you gotta watch way too many videos in order to get some information that you need. I know there's a lot of information out there, but hey, that's okay. We'll fill you in. So the first couple things I wanted to tell you is make sure this connection on the front of your motor is really well and secure and doesn't leak. You don't want any fuel leaks when you're messing with these little engines. The first thing, I just bought this and I was trying to figure out, why it was only running on choke. And after watching a ton of videos, what I figured out is obviously make sure that your primer bulb, when you press it, it's nice and firm. You can squeeze this thing when you have your connection off of the motor and it should just firm up. Make sure you got your valve right here open on your fuel tank when you're trying to run the little engine. I just got this covered up to prevent any junk from getting in there because I got a ton of dust flying around the shop. Anyways, back to the little engine. So first thing I had to do was figure out if all my fuel lines were secure, which they were. This is your little fuel pump. You want to make sure all of these little connections here are nice and secure. This one, a few of them are loose, but that's only because the fuel lines have been on there so long. There's no vacuum leaks. You can test that just by pressuring it up and make sure you got good flow coming all the way to the bowl of your carburetor here. This is super general. This is the same setup that you'd have on pretty much any small engine as far as lawnmowers, snow blowers. This is the same type of carburetor that you got. Yeah, so anyways, what I had to do was loosen up this bolt and this bolt down here, pop off the carburetor, drop the bowl. There's just a screw on the bottom. You had to disconnect this little piece right here, which is your choke in and out. Once you get all this stuff taken care of and the carburetor off, you just disassemble the carburetor as gently as possible. There's like 2 springs in there, one with your needle valve underneath your float bowl here, and then one that controls your float bowl just staying stable. Make sure you get that cover on your float bowl resituated back correctly, because that'll limit the functionality of basically the float itself coming up and down inside of the bowl. So make sure you take it all apart, obviously, as you want to put it back together. And then I blew out all the ports and cleaned them all out with carburetor cleaner. Put it back on, runs like a top. I mean, I've done this on hot rods, I've done this on snowblowers, on gas engines, for compressors, and for lawnmowers. It's usually a seasonal thing. After people leave it sitting for years or seasons, and the fuel seems to just gum up inside that carburetor, usually one of those little ports is clogged. You don't want to hit it with a ton of air, probably like, less than 40 psi, and just blow out gently. Hit it with the carb cleaner, blow it all out, get it all secured. Pop it back on. She runs like a top. This idle set screw, my manufacturer, you can look it up, but mine said to run it out one full turn, run the engine, and then back it out till it bogs, and then screw it back in until it's happy medium. Some engines you have to back it out 3, I believe, for the Evinrudes. Back it out 3 and then run it and go from there. But this cured my problem of running it only on the choke. That way I could just yank it and get going. So there's that. The other thing I've noticed with a lot of videos is people don't entirely understand on how you can change this lower unit gear oil. So basically, get one of these. I always save the little tops off of gear oils so that you can use them on other bottles, because this one didn't come with it. So save the little top, fits right in those holes perfectly. Obviously with this engine, one says fill and one says vent, but they don't all say that. Sometimes there's one at the bottom. You can see here, this is your drain right here. Just a flathead screwdriver. Hit that drain, open up both of these bad dudes, and you'll drain out all the old stuff. This motor was so gunked up in there, it literally was coming out in clumps. And the guy who sold it to me with fresh oil in here. So literally filled up fresh oil, popped the plug, showed me, oh yeah, look at the fresh oil, blah, blah, blah. Well, come to find out, the whole lower unit was just gummed up and full of just crud and chunks of stuff. You can still see it trying to come out of here. This is no bueno. It's just... Anyway, so what I had to do is drain it all out, put the fuel plug back in. I mean, the drain plug. But a lot of them, you can start with the drain plug and pump up all the way to the fill. But this isn't, on this one you fill from here. Usually there's just a vent. This one happened to have two. Chrysler thought of it. Go boom par. But usually you would pump your oil up until it comes out of your vent. This one you can actually just fill here until it comes out of your vent with the drain plug in. So win-win for them building up this one. Obviously they were thinking of more stuff in the 80s. Okay, this outboard, she runs like a top. I figured I'd just shoot a couple videos out. That way everybody can stop watching 10 or 15 videos on how to tune up their outboard. So, yep, after you get that going with your carburetor, get some new oil in your lower unit. Takes 90 weight. You do want to use the marine. It's better for water stuff. Yeah, all the videos out there that say you have to replace the fuel pump and you have to replace your spark plugs and you have to replace all this stuff, all your lines, everything. No, literally fixed it in 15 minutes, just dropping the bowl out, cleaning a couple ports on the carburetor, putting it back in. Runs just fine. Change the lower unit, make sure you got good gas mixture, use the non-ethanol stuff, and the unleaded, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, this is the setup. I know there was something else, but I can't think of it right now. So hopefully this video helped a few of you guys on figuring out how to get your little outboard running, or vice versa, your lawnmower. Obviously you can tell snow blowers do it, rototillers do it, log splitters do it, lawnmowers do it. I pulled them all apart. Obviously now it's obviously better to not leave your fuel every time I run outboards, since they have this quick connect. Right before I'm done for the day, I'll pull my quick disconnect and let all the fuel burn out of the carburetor. But if people don't do that, then you end up with fuel in your carburetor sitting there for months at a time. Fuel dries up, little particles make it all gummed up in all those little valves and everything, and you end up with problems. So run your fuel out before you shut things off. Make sure that you're either using an additive or you're using that ethanol-free gas. That way you don't get any of that corrosion stuff in the unleaded fuel. And then you can use additives for it, or you can use, you know, Stay-Bil, stuff like that. But you guys should know all that stuff. So anyways, hope you guys liked it. I'll post some more videos if I have any more problems, but I already pulled this one out of the water and got everything switched out, and I'm doing my lower unit now, so I figured I'd just let you know that way. Anybody having problems with having to run their engine on choke mode only, that's the way you fix it. Clean your carb, put it back together, crank it up. She'll run just fine. Make sure you got your idle and your fuel mixture set, and you're good to go. Alright guys, peace out.